Hey everybody, welcome back to Everyday Tech Explained. So today we're going to be diving into the hottest AI tools of 2024. We'll be covering everything from image generators to video editors and even AI for coding. And this deep dive is going to be based on this really awesome article from Digital Trends called The Best AI Tools of 2024. And before we get started, if you guys are finding this helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help us out a lot. Okay, so
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think that all the stuff we're going to be talking about today was basically science fiction just a couple years ago. And now it's totally at our fingertips.
yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I'm most excited about is AI image generation. I mean, we've all probably heard of Midjourney DALL-E 3, which is now free for everybody, by the way.
Yeah.
And then you've got Google's Imagen 3, which is accessible through their Gemini chatbot. But what's really interesting to me is how all these tools are changing the game for creative industries.
Oh, totally. Like, imagine you're a small business owner and you need like some high quality marketing materials, but maybe you can't afford to hire a graphic designer. Now you can use these AI tools to create some really stunning visuals in just minutes. It's seriously a level playing field that was never possible before.
Yeah, it's pretty much like having a whole design team living inside your computer. And it's not even just about creating static images anymore. You've got stuff like Runway's Gen 3 Alpha, which can actually generate short video clips just from text prompts.
Yeah. Think about what that means for like video marketing, educational content, even entertainment. The possibilities are just endless.
I know, it's super exciting. Okay, but before we go too crazy talking about video, let's talk about how AI is kind of revolutionizing image editing too.
Yeah, for sure. So a good example of this is Luminar Neo. It uses AI to handle all those like really tedious editing tasks that used to take forever in Photoshop.
Oh, so like things like removing objects from a photo or even expanding the background.
Exactly. It's basically like having a professional photo editor working for you on demand, making all your pictures look amazing with just a few clicks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And speaking of user-friendly tools, I think a lot of our listeners are probably already familiar with Canva. But did you know that Canva Pro now uses AI for a bunch of things, like removing objects, expanding backgrounds, and even pulling out text from images?
Yeah, it's really wild how they've used AI to streamline the whole design process, especially for folks who aren't like design experts.
Yeah, for sure. It's perfect for anyone who wants to create like professional-looking social media posts, presentations, marketing materials without needing a design degree.
Yeah, definitely. It's really empowering. But speaking of empowering, let's move on to AI-generated video.
Okay, this is where things start to feel like we're living in the future. Tools like Dream Machine are making it possible to actually create videos from just text prompts, just like we saw with image generation.
And the really cool thing about Dream Machine is that it's designed to understand just natural language. You don't need to be some tech genius or learn how to use complicated software.
So you could literally type in something like, create a video of a cat riding a unicorn through a rainbow field, and it would actually make it happen.
Pretty much, yeah. And these videos aren't just like basic animations either. They can be surprisingly realistic and detailed.
Wow, okay, my mind is officially blown. And then there's Kling, which can actually generate videos that are up to 2 minutes long.
Yeah, and that's double the length of some of the competitors out there like OpenAI's Sora. And it just really shows how quickly this technology is advancing.
It really makes you wonder if we'll be using AI to make like full-length feature films in the near future. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's talk about some other really exciting areas where AI is making some big waves, specifically text and audio generation.
Okay, so yeah, on the text side of things, you've got the ever-popular ChatGPT, of course. But Google Gemini is definitely emerging as a strong competitor.
What do you think sets Gemini apart?
Well, one thing is that it's just seamlessly integrated with all of Google's apps, which makes it super convenient to use. But even more important is that it's multimodal. It can understand and generate not just text, but also things like code and images.
Wow, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
It makes it a much more versatile tool. And for our listeners who are in the content creation or marketing world, Jasper AI might be worth checking out.
Definitely. It's designed specifically with a focus on research and SEO, which can save a ton of time for anyone creating online content.
Okay, cool. Now let's talk about audio. I've heard about 11 Labs, which can create super realistic voiceovers and even clone voices. which is both amazing and kind of creepy.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely raises some interesting ethical questions about how this technology could be misused. But on a more practical level, you've got tools like Speechify, which are using AI to read documents out loud at super speed.
Oh yeah, I've heard that Speechify is a lifesaver for students and professionals who have to do a ton of reading. It's like having a personal speed reader in your pocket.
Totally. And for people who are more interested in the entertainment side of things, Respeecher is doing some really amazing work with voice cloning.
Oh yeah. Didn't they actually win an Emmy for recreating Richard Nixon's voice for a documentary?
That's right. It's mind-blowing to think that we can actually bring historical figures back to life, at least vocally. But speaking of bringing things to life, let's move on to one final category that's getting a lot of attention: coding.
Yeah, for anyone who's ever felt like coding is just way too intimidating, AI is here to help.
Yeah, tools like Claude, which is an AI chatbot that's really good at coding tasks, are making programming a lot more accessible to beginners.
And the best part is Claude is completely free to use.
Yeah, and it's not just free, it's actually outperforming some of the big names in coding AI like ChatGPT and certain benchmarks.
So it's both accessible and powerful. And for those who are already comfortable with coding, there's GitHub Copilot, which is like a super-powered autocomplete for programmers.
It's kind of like having an experienced programmer looking over your shoulder, suggesting code snippets and helping you write code faster and more efficiently.
That's awesome. It's like having a coding buddy who never gets tired or frustrated.
Exactly. And it can be a huge time saver for both beginners and experienced programmers.
Yeah, it really is amazing how AI is like changing the whole landscape of coding. But it's not just about like standalone tools anymore. We're also seeing AI being built right into the apps that we all use every single day.
Yeah, that's a really good point. AI is definitely becoming more pervasive. Like, it's being woven into the fabric of our digital lives.
Yeah, for sure. Like, for example, Meta is putting AI into pretty much everything they do. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, you name it.
Yeah, and just think about how you use social media. Now imagine if AI could help you like generate image backgrounds for your posts, or translate audio and reels, or even create custom images to share. It's like having a creative assistant right there in your apps.
That would be amazing. And it's not just Meta either. Microsoft is doing something very similar with their 365 Copilot.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge for productivity. Imagine having AI help you write documents in Word, or analyze data in Excel, or even manage your inbox in Outlook. It's going to take those everyday tasks to a whole new level.
I know, it's pretty mind-blowing. And of course, we can't forget about Google. Their Gemini AI is deeply integrated with all their workspace apps, like Gmail Docs and Slides.
Exactly. It's all about making those things we do every single day easier and faster. Like, think about drafting emails or writing reports or creating presentations, all with the help of AI.
And even Apple, who've been a little bit slower to really embrace AI, are now making some serious moves with Apple Intelligence.
Yeah, and what's interesting about Apple Intelligence is that it's not just limited to specific apps. It's designed to be this like overarching AI agent that works across all of your Apple devices.
Oh, wow. So it's like having a personal AI that knows you and your preferences across your iPhone, iPad, and Mac.
Exactly. And it can do some pretty amazing things too. Like, it can improve Siri's conversational abilities, it can automate tasks like proofreading and text summarization, and it can even generate images on the fly.
Wow. It really does feel like we're moving towards a future where AI is just seamlessly integrated into every part of our digital lives.
Yeah, it's exciting, but it also brings up some important questions, like how will our relationship with technology change as AI gets more powerful and more ubiquitous? It's definitely something we need to start thinking about.
Absolutely. But on a more practical level, one of the things I'm really loving about this whole AI revolution is how accessible these tools are becoming. You know, a lot of them have free tiers or trials, so you can experiment and see what works for you without having to spend any money.
Yeah, that's a really important point. This technology isn't just for like big corporations or tech experts anymore. It's for everyone.
Exactly. And that's what we're all about here at Everyday Tech Explained. We want to help you explore these tools and discover how they can make your work, your creativity, and your everyday life better.
Yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the best AI tools of 2024, we want to leave you with one final thought. Don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah, try out different tools. See what sparks your curiosity.
You might be surprised at what you discover.
And who knows, you might even stumble upon the next big thing in AI.
I know, right? It really wasn't that long ago when this was all just stuff researchers and big tech companies were messing around with.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how much things have changed. Now anyone can just jump in and start experimenting. which is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It feels kind of like the early days of personal computers, you know? What used to be super exclusive and expensive is now like totally mainstream. And I think that's going to open up so many possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. Think about all the creative ways people are going to use this stuff and the ways AI can help us solve problems and automate all those boring tasks. We're really just getting started.
Yeah, that's what makes it so exciting to be following all of this. It feels like there's always something new to learn and explore. Oh, for sure. And speaking of exploring, we've talked about a lot of different tools today. But it's important to remember that these are just a few examples. There are literally thousands of AI tools out there.
Yeah, it's a good point. So if you're interested in AI, I definitely encourage you to do some more research and see what else is out there.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and try some stuff out. The best way to learn about AI is to just use it. And a lot of these tools offer free trials or like limited free versions, so you can get a feel for how they work before you commit to anything.
Yeah, and the more people who understand AI, the better. This is a technology that's going to have a huge impact on our lives.
Yeah.
So it's important that we all understand its potential, but also its limitations.
Couldn't agree more.
Well said. So as we wrap up this episode of Everyday Tech Explained, we want to leave you with one final thought. Don't be intimidated by AI. It's just a tool, just like any other tool. And with a little curiosity and a willingness to learn, you can really harness its power to do some pretty amazing things.
This has been Everyday Tech Explained, and we hope you found this deep dive into AI tools informative and inspiring.
So if you're in the market for a new AI tool, tell us what you're looking for. Or if you're already using one, let us know what it is and how you like it. Hit that like button and subscribe, and tell us about it in the comments below. We love hearing from you guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of everyday technology. Until next time, stay curious.